Hi Patreon members. Thought it's about time I stuck a video on for you. I'm going to do a bit of a Q&A. I'm just in the middle of blending up some bats for shops website listings for this weekend, for this fortnight. And just a little bit of catch-up news and let you know what's been going on in the background and why I've not been uploading as regularly. There are reasons behind that. And not because I'm being lazy. But I'll tell you that as we go along. I'll try and make this video about half an hour, not too long. So I'll just talk you through what I'm doing at the moment, and then I'll have a natter with you as I go. Hopefully I can multitask. It's a bit hard doing that these days, but I'll muddle through. So I have got a variety of different fibres that I'm blending up today. I've got this mixed blend. It's got lilac and natural white in there, and a really soft dove grey, which I've actually got that in the merino in there as well. So I'm going with this biscuit colour. So I'm just going to split them into little sections, and I have got this shell colour as well. Oh, just put that there like that, and then I've got this dove grey, very subtle, soft tone, which is what I want to go with as well. So I've got some hand dyed just a silk oil, which I'm going to put in just for a little bit of texture, trying to avoid the Angelina on this one. And I've got hand dyed 200 micron count merino, so you can see it's like got this fawny sandy colour in there, and it's got quite a lot of white in there, and I'm trying to make a lovely sort of shiny pearlescent sort of colour way, very soft, very natural, diluted. So that's what I've got in my head today. It's what I've been making up the last 2 days, are these really soft natural coloured bats, just to add to the shop instead of the loud colours. I really needed to just top up my sort of pastel-y, softer, romantic colour range for the shop listings, just so they're on there. So I'm just going to stick that to one side, take that out. We'll talk about that fibre in a minute. So I'm just splitting it down in 3 as I usually do. It's just my go-to. A couple of the ones that I did yesterday, they've been split into 2. And then I've used 3 of a other colour in between. Right, so stick that to one side there, and stick that to one side there as well. So there we go. So I'll just get on with this and have a natter with you as we go along. So it was my birthday last time I had a proper chat with you guys. It was my birthday at the beginning of last month, and a lot's gone on since then. What colour do you want this? I'm going to get my mid grey. I'm just going to stretch that out a little bit so it's not so bulky, and stick that there. Yeah, I went to Carlisle for my birthday. The Q&A, Melanie asked me, oh, since it was your birthday the other week there, what cake do you have? I didn't have one. I'm supposed to be on a strict diet. Firstly, I don't really have a sweet tooth. Occasionally, you know, when it's that time of the month, I'll take a sweet craving then. But I'm more of a savoury person. So instead of having a birthday cake, I was taken to a lovely little Italian restaurant called Franco's in Carlisle. So, and I had a Mariana pizza, which I don't often get to have because I don't often go out for pizza. Don't often go out for the dinner either. But yeah, so I had a lovely, with anchovies and prawns and tuna and everything else, and I love seafood. So yeah, that's what I had. So I had a pizza cake, a pizza cake or a pizza pie. Yeah, so that's what we did, and went and did a little bit of shopping, a little bit of treats. Got myself a couple of good bargains as well. I got myself a big, huge, I say huge, it's a big green bag with big long brown leather handles on it, and it's my go-to bag now. It's a proper squishy bag, and it was only £4.50 out of a charity shop, and it was brand new. Well, it was practically brand new. It had hardly been used, and it's from White Stuff. And then I snagged a shirt with loads of little cats on it, and that was from White Stuff as well, and that only cost me £5. So I was chuffed to bits, me. Very, very happy. So yeah, I went into Carlisle with Phil and his mum for my birthday. So it was a nice little trip out. Went to the little book, I say little bookshop. There's a brilliant bookshop in Carlisle. I can't remember the name of it, but it's got a little cafe in there right down the back, and it's like little squiddle tunnels all over the place, like a rabbit's warren. So yeah, that's what I did for my birthday. Nothing too extravagant. I've been finding it really, really hard to get out and about for the last going on 6 months now. Bring that back again. I say I'm not well. I'm well. I'm fine in myself, but my body isn't. I've got something tricksy-dicksy going on with my heart that the doctor can't fathom out, and I'm on a 6-month waiting list for the cardiologist, which is ridiculous. But my blood pressure won't even out, and the medication that I've got, which is the lowest dosage you can get, is knocking me off my feet to the point that I've gone undiagnosed with hypertension for so long that my resting heart rate is around about 180 to about 200 over, say 180 over 112 or 200 over 124, and that sounds alarming, and it is alarming. But with the medication, it's bringing my heart rate down into what should be a really healthy level of roughly about 135 over 98 or 88, but it's making me ill. My heart's not happy being at a normal level, and then sometimes it will drop right out and it'll be sitting at 104 over 54, and it's making me really, really poorly. I'm discombobulated. I can't think straight. It can last for days. Dizzy. I can't stand up. Feel as if I'm going to black out all the time. So yeah, this has been brewing and getting more and more frequent. It was like maybe a couple of days over in a month, but now it's got to the point it's all the time. So I ended up at A&E on Saturday last week. So yeah, there's consultants there couldn't figure out what's going on in A&E. They don't know what's going on. They advised me to have glycerin, getting compressions in my chest and pains in my chest and stuff like that. So doctor prescribed me glycerin, but then I was in seeing her there again the other day there, and we still can't figure out what's going on. Went in there with hypertension on Wednesday, coming out having to have a celiac disease blood test and bowel cancer. Don't ask me how. We went from one extreme to the other. But on top of all this, I've got a heart murmur as well, which needs to be investigated to see if it's a bad heart. I mean, I've had the scans done and everything else, but the cardiologist needs to evaluate whether I need any type of operations or procedures done either now or in the future. So yeah, that's why I've been finding it really hard to get the videos up on Patreon. It's not for lack of trying, but the attacks that I've been getting are really unpredictable. So I do apologise. You'll have to bear with me. It could be, it's going to be 5 more months that I'm on this waiting list for. I've been up for a month now. There's going to be 5 more months on a waiting list, and that's before I even get an appointment, which could be in the new year, next year, before I get seen to a cardiologist. That's how bad it is. And that was my doctor putting in for a request for me to be seen within a fortnight. So yeah, they're not seeing it as immediate. I obviously do, because it's affecting me daily. I'm just finding it really hard to function. Today's a good day. We've sort of tweaked my medication a little bit, and I'm taking one of my blood pressure tablets in the morning and another one in the evening. I've also got blood count that from the A&E where they did a full blood check workup, and I'm anemic. So so it's sitting at 103 or something, which is in the red zone. So that's another consideration. I'm like, well, I'm not surprised. I've been borderline anemic since I was 19, and it comes and goes. So yeah, so I could be anemic, I could have celiac disease and I might have bowel cancer, but who knows? Hopefully none of the above. But yeah, or any of the, no, not one of them, rather not. But if that explains why my heart's been Trixie Dixie, then I'll be quite happy with that. But yeah, I don't want the bowel cancer thing. No, thank you. No, please don't give me that one. But yeah, so I've got all that going on in the background. I'm struggling with the business. It's barely making ends meet at the moment. I'm getting enough in sales coming in to cover my outgoings, and a little bit being able to squirrel aside. I'm not even able to pay myself any type of wage or take anything out of the business. But that is the same for everybody at the moment. So I'm really struggling with my confidence in the business. So just bear with me. I've reduced how much stock I put onto the website because I should have been at the Tangled Gathering last weekend, but on medical advice from the doctor, I'm not allowed to travel anywhere or go anywhere without Phil there with me, that type of thing. So I'm not even going on on the bus to go on the doctors for my checkups or anything like that. I'm having to work it around Phil's shifts at work. So I should have been at Tangled last week. So last weekend, which was obviously a major income boost, but that got kiboshed. I had to cancel that at the beginning of May and give my notice to the lass over there, and I didn't even get my money back from a deposit. So yeah, it's just one of those things. So at the moment, at this moment in time, I won't be applying for any trade fairs, wool fairs this year, not until this is all figured out and what's going on, unless I find out beforehand. I'd love to be able to get to the Woolly Good Gathering again next April. They're doing it at a new venue, the Edinburgh Academy, which would be absolutely fantastic if I could get to that, because I had to cancel that this year. I had to revoke my application just before Christmas because this was all starting to kick off. Yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare. So the only income I've got coming in for the business is through online sales. So don't forget, I do commissions, and it doesn't cost you any more than it would do to thinking. If anything, I actually do a bit of a discount on it. So if you're ever looking for something and I don't have the colours you're looking for on the website, drop me a message. If you've got allergies and you can't, and you don't like the wools to be washed in Eucalan or a neutralizer, so there's a fragrance on there, let me know and I will do that specifically for you without anything in the water, even though it helps with the pH balance. I can't find any fragrance free fabric conditioners at the moment. It could be down to perfumes or something like that. So apart from the child stuff, but even then there's still a bit of a fragrance in there. Even though it says fragrance free, I can always smell something. I've got a really quite acute sense of smell. So if you've got any type of allergies like that, then let me know and I can do something specifically for you in the colours that you're looking for. Okay. So yeah, so anyway, we'll get on with the rest of this. So I'm also using this fibre here, which I will find you the raw form. I put it down somewhere. There it is. Lotus fibre. It is beautiful. It feels as soft as silk. It's a really, really gorgeous fibre. So I popped this in the dye tray the other day. Then now it does dye a bit, but it's not a really strong. I like how I get this pastel-y opalescent sort of tone. So the dye will stick to it a little. It could probably have done with a bit more citric acid in it, or dunked in some washing up liquid to help the dye fix to it. But I like it because it just gives me that really, really subtle, very, very subtle colour on the fibre. And it's got this gorgeous sheen to it. And I've actually got some notes on here, which I will read out to you in a minute. So that's what I'm using with this. So I've put those on there, and I've done those. Yeah, so I'm going to put this blended fibre. This is Mulberry Silk and 23 micron count merino. So I'm just going to put that on there. And I've got this, just a silk oil. that's been dyed ages ago. So I just want a little bit of texture on this. Then she drops off an entire piece, which is what happens. There we go. So just a bit of that on there. Pop aside, and then get my gorgeous lotus fibre and run that across. I'm not going to hand paint it, I'm just going to run it across so it sits on there really, really nice and evenly distributed. More than it would be if it was painted on the back. So I had a question of Melanie in the bit of a Q&A that I had. Fortunately, I've only got one question this week for my Q&A, so I do apologise. Melanie says, do you find that she's in the middle of processing and washing and everything else a Kent Romney fleece, and she says, do you find the processed fleece that you wash and do yourself and then spin comes out softer than commercially processed? Right, so my answer to that is yes, but you have to remember that the milled wool that you get from your supplier, from the wool mills, they're not just having like, say like a young shearling, like a first cut lamb. They've got hoggets in there, they've got all sorts of age groups of fleeces going in one go. So they can't afford to be picky. So that's why when you're processing your own fleece, unless you know that it's an old sheep, you're going to get probably a coarser bit than you would do a shearling, which is usually the fleeces that I only tend to buy. I don't like buying a fleece that's been weathered for 3-4 years. I prefer the 1-2 year old fleeces, the shearlings, or the first cuts, first time they've ever been cut. They're the ones I like because I find they're a lot more softer and a lot nicer to work with, rather than the older stuff that's got bleached tips and all the rest of it. So yeah, you've just got to take that into consideration. You may find, and you probably will find, that if you've got a really good fleece from a breeder or a farmer, then you're only dealing with the one fleece. But when you're buying your wool, that's your wool roving or your top from the mills, then they're processing multiple fleeces from a variety of different age groups in with that process. So that's why it'll feel different to the wool that you're working with. I know it seems logical now that I say it, but yeah, that's what it'll be down to. That's the reason why they feel slightly different from one another, okay? And then she says, I have a 120 TPI and a 72 TPI. Oh, right, no, she was asking me roughly about, do I find, something along the lines of, so this is where my memory's going as well. I have no recollection of hardly anything of A&E on Saturday. I was that bad with dizzy spells. And this is what I'm like at the moment. My memory's just really, really rubbish. She was asking me about whether I had blending boards, a drum carder, and do I find it, I think it was more along the lines of, do I find there's a difference between blending fine fibres with a 120 TPI in comparison to anything else? And to be fair, I've got a spare drum down there, and I have never changed it over, because I don't actually blend a lot of fine fibres like 18.5 or 14.5 or Surrey alpaca, that sort of fibres, on my drum carder to blend up into bats, and need in the higher grade, the 120 TPI, because it's so fine, and it would be work out so expensive if I was to do a Surrey alpaca of 120 gram bats. It would work out really quite expensive to sell them, so they wouldn't sell anyway. They're really, really fine fibres. So I tend to, with those expensive fibres, actually just blend them up with the wool, because it means that people that have never had the experience of using them, they may be put off by spinning them off completely. And anybody, to be fair, that I sell to, if they wanted to spin up a kilo or shy of a kilo's worth of Surrey alpaca, they would more than likely go and find a source for that, wash it, spin it, and do everything themselves, rather than buy that from me, because it'd work out financially cheaper. So I tend to use my 72 for everything. And now I could do a 50-50 blend on my 72. I can do a 70-30 blend, and I can blend the really fine wools and blend it with something a little bit coarser, like a 21 microcount merino, or something like that, or with my Corriedale or a Rambouillet or whatever, because that's really quite fine as well. So no, I like the 72 TPI because it's a really good all-rounder, and I don't know of anywhere that does a blending board that's a higher grade than the 72 TPI. Yeah, I mean, that's a cloth that I can get a hold of. Anyone can get a hold of from suppliers. World of Wool have started doing their own blending boards. Wing and Wool do their own blending boards, but they also sell the cloths on their own as well. They're a bit expensive, but yeah, and you can make your own blending board. But you're looking at, you were getting a 72, which is your Joe Bloggs, is your go-to, is your workhorse blending board, carding cloth. And I think it's a really good all-rounder. And yeah, I have the 120, but in hindsight, I think for me it was a waste of money. And it sat there as 120 quid's worth of a drum underneath me in the bag that it came in, and I've never used it. And I should really sell it on to see if anybody else wants it, because I probably will never do it. I may do it as a demo to show you how to change the drum over, but the odds of me using my 120, slim to none, to be fair. I genuinely, when I bought it and I bought this, I thought I will use it. There'll be times and opportunities for me to use it, but I don't. And if I was asked to process a fleece that was a seriously fine micron count and it was for a commission, then that probably be the only time that I would use it. Yeah, that would be it really. So no, for me, your 72 is your go-to, is your mid-range, and as long as you're blending your fibres with the wools, the fine stuff with the wools, and doing a 50-50, because you'll notice, you see me doing this video last week with the alpaca and wool, and I showed you the differences in the ratio using the Haikui alpaca with the normal wool. There's a difference. I haven't spun them up yet. Bear with me. It's been a rough week. I haven't had a chance to sit down and spin and be able to concentrate. So bear with me. Hopefully I'm at a little bit of a lull in my my attacks, because they thought it was angina. So I'm at a bit of a lull in my attacks. So I've got a bit of energy today. See how I go tomorrow, but it's just one day at a time for me at the moment, so bear with me. I haven't had a chance, and I need to do it because it's got to go in the book, you see. I've got the photographs up there. I just haven't got round to doing the write-up properly, just the notes. Anyway, we'll get on with this. So yeah, there, I hope that helped, Melanie. Right, so back to doing this again. So back on the light grey on this end. Yeah, it was. And then the biscuit. And then this pinky pastel colour. There we go. And then my next bit, start with the grey end. So what you guys been up to? I'll ask you, and you can put anything down in the comments. If you've got any questions, stick them down in the comments below, and I'll take a note for the next Q&A later on in this month. If not the end of this month, at the beginning of July. God, can you believe it? We're nearly in the middle of June already. Oh, come on. Right. Right, then in with this blend here, some mulberry silk. Okay, and then some of this fibre, silk and oil, and then we'll give it, stick some of this fibre on and then give it a bit of a card in as well. If there's any videos that you want me to put up or record or whatever over the next couple of weeks, let me know. Put them in the comments below. I really would appreciate it. Just a little bit helps me at the moment while I'm not feeling the inspiration. Definitely not feeling inspired at the moment, but I'm trying my best. I'm trying to get myself back up on my feet. It's just a bit hard work at the moment. Right, so this one again next. No, it's not. It's these ones here. No, packing it up. See, just all over the place. I've been fighting with the jackdaws this morning. Jackdaws have decided they want to come in my yard and try and find some food because they've been watching the house sparrows that live in the guttering. And I've got a family of great tits coming in to feed. And oh, honestly, I've been chasing these flaming jackdaws out my yard all morning. And I don't mean one or two. I mean, there was 8 in there. Chasing the poor little birds away, and all they want is some food. Right, on right. I'm going to start with the blue this time, over this side. Right, on a minute. You know what? She's talking. She's losing the train of thought. Grey first. Get this merino one here. And just to remind you as well, Tour de Fleece. Tour de Fleece are on the website for pre-orders. If anybody wants one, stick your order in now because that closes next weekend. Yeah, that needs to think. Otherwise, once it's gone, it's done. For Tour de Fleece, because I need to be able to order it, and it's taken about a week at the moment for my stock orders to come from a supplier, but they've been changing over warehouses. So yeah, it's been a bit frustrating. I can't guarantee that I'm going to have such and such in within a couple of days of ordering like I normally do. It's taking nearly a week before I get the stock in, so I'm just trying to avoid any delays, especially if I have any overseas orders for America or whatever. So yeah, that's a bit of a bugbear at the moment, but it can't be helped. Can't be helped. So soft, this real 21 micron count merino. I tell you what, there's a massive difference between the 21 and the 23. Just give this a pat down. Try and get this off the front liquor as well. Right, get this that's the fibre on. It'd be a bit of a fight, I reckon, but let's see. Not too bad. And then my mulberry silk, twisted silk oil, and then before I go any further, I have got my lotus fibre, and I went and did a bit of research for you. Lotus fibre, I'll read it from my notes, but lotus fibre, also known as lotus silk or lotus stem fibre, is a natural fibre extracted from the stems of the lotus plant. It's a rare and sustainable textile made through traditional hand harvesting process, resulting in a luxurious and delicate fabric. Its origin is grown in abundance in lakes and ponds, therefore a renewable resource. The process is labour intensive, involving artisans carefully extracting the long, thin fibres from inside of the stem of the plant. The fibres are washed, dried, spun and then woven into fabric, often by skilled craftspeople in Myanmar, or also known as Burma back in the day, Vietnam, India and parts of China. Lotus fibre is known for its softness, lightweight nature, breathability, resistance to stains and wrinkles and water. It's biodegradable in an anaerobic environment. In some cultures, lotus fibre is associated with purity, beauty and interconnectedness of all things. Hence it's used, the lotus flower symbols used in yoga and I think Buddhism as well. Sustainability, lotus fibre is an eco-friendly alternative to synthetic fibres, as it is a renewable resource that requires minimal water and energy for cultivation. Lotus silk is considered one of the most expensive fabrics in the world. If you want to buy yourself some to have a little try, it's gorgeous. It really is nice. Lotus fibre you can buy from I'm saying World of Wool, and you know I'm not sponsored by them, they're just my supplier. Lotus fibre top is £2.88 for 50 grams. Now imagine blending up that, well you couldn't really, you'd want to spin it because it's seriously fine. You can't blend that sort of fibre. Well, you can blend it with wools, but you can't put it on your drum card. There's just no point. You might as well just spin it from what it is, okay, because the top has already been processed through and everything else. So yeah, and it will dye a bit. Use a protein dye more than an acid dye. I just throw a lot of my fibres in my dye pot, and if they strike a bit of a colour, then I'm happy. I don't tend to use Procyon dyes that often. I find them really, really messy, and are just a bit of a nightmare. If I had a proper workshop and it wasn't in my kitchen or out in the yard that I do this sort of run my business from, and I could afford to make a mess, then I'd be different. But I can't. I'm at home, and Phil would kill me. So there you go. Lotus fibre. It's one of my. I love this fibre. It's only been available to buy in the UK. I think going about 3 years now. I've had this in my stock. Right, so nearly at the end now. I'm just going to card this on. So the ratio of the lotus fibre to wool is probably in this blend about 5%. It's that. It's not a lot. But it's enough that you would notice. If I was to do 2 blends, one with and one without, then you would notice the difference in the touch of it. Right, there we go. That's another one to go on the website this afternoon, being Saturday the 7th. I've put this back on then, I've got to take it off yet. Saturday the 7th of June. There we go. Listen to that. Just needs a bit of an oiling. A bit like me at the moment. I just need a bit of an oiling, honestly. Right, so I hope you enjoyed this sort of Q&A demo, chat along, catch up. Don't worry, everything's fine. But if I don't manage to get out my videos on time every week, then bear with me. I'm probably going through a bit of a sticky wicket day, and I just cannot concentrate or stand up because I'm having really bad dizzy spells. And I just can't focus when I'm like that. So there you go, there's the reverse of it. So you've got this lovely light blue, and then it transitions through this like marbled lilac that's split. So you've got hints of purple, bits of pink in there, and then it goes through into this really soft grey. at the edge. Very, very slight texture to it, but it's got a lovely silky finish thanks to the mulberry silk and the lotus fibre. So I have no idea what I'm going to call this one, but we'll see. There we go. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like. It really does help this channel. Even though this is a private video, it does help the channel to grow. If you know of anybody that's starting out in spinning or in fibres and things like that, hit them up with the link for my YouTube channel. I would really appreciate it. We are at 976 subscribers. I've been on here for 5 years and I'm not at 1,000 yet, and I'd really, really appreciate it if we could help me get that push through to 1,000. To be fair, you guys get thrown adverts and I don't get paid for anything that is over on the YouTube channel. I don't get paid for anything. I don't get a commission off of it. I don't get any financial remuneration from Facebook, from YouTube at all. So I really, really appreciate it. If you feel like you don't want to support me over here on Patreon anymore, I do appreciate that, because I'm not on here as regularly as what I have been. But if you are, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. I'm trying my best to put out a video at least every week. Yeah, it's just really hard at the moment, so please do bear with me. I'm trying my best. Anyway, take care of yourselves, and I will speak to you very, very soon. Any suggestions for any videos or any type of blending techniques that you want me to do, put them down below and I'll use that as part of a Q&A, and or I'll put them in for my next video. I really appreciate that. Take care for now. Be good.